Hello everyone, you're watching Bhutan This Week, a weekly news magazine program. I'm Samtan Dolkar. Our top stories this week. Opposition say the government's decision to replace Shemgang with Sarpong in tourism flagship program is illegal. The government to start mass commercial organic farming project from 2021. And Wizards and Majas, the champions of this year's Coronation Cup. Now the news in detail. The opposition party is now saying the government's decision to remove Shemgang from the tourism flagship program and replacing it with Sarpong is illegal. In a letter written to the National Assembly Speaker, the opposition party stated this move by the government is against the Constitution as well as the Parliament's decision. The government had initially included Shemgang as one of the 4 focus districts in the Tourism Council of Bhutan's flagship program to promote balanced tourism, but the decision was later altered.
The letter states that the opposition party is deeply concerned by the unlawful decision of the government, which is a violation of the budget appropriation bill passed by the parliament. It mentioned that once it is passed by both houses and granted royal assent by His Majesty the King, the government has no legitimacy to amend it and has to be implemented as approved. The opposition party's Vice President Ugenwangdi said the government failed to respect the provisions of the law and also infringed the authority of the parliament.
As per the Constitution, Article 14 to Article Section 2, 4 and Article 20, Section 8, Public Finance Act, Section 62. When we review all these provisions, it is clear that once the budget or any activity approved by the parliament in the form of a money bill, for say that is a budget appropriation bill, it cannot be amended without the concurrence of the parliament. So therefore we truly believe that the decision taken by the government, the change of the tourism flagship program earmarked for Shemgang Zongkhak to Sarpong Zongkhak is a violation of Constitution and the relevant laws.
He added that the initial decision was a policy until it was submitted to the parliament. But once the appropriation bill is passed by the parliament and assented by His Majesty the King, it becomes an act, and that the government has no authority to change and amend it without the full proceedings of the parliament. On similar lines, the National Council also wrote a letter to the Prime Minister on Monday expressing their concerns on the government's decision to replace Shemgang with Sarpong as one of the 4 focus districts in the flagship program. The House requested the government to review their decision and take appropriate action. The Deputy Chairperson of the National Council in a telephone interview said the decision is against the law and such decisions will set unhealthy precedent. On the other hand, the Foreign Minister Dr. Tandi Doji, who is also the chairman of TCB, remained unchanged on his stand that the government has the power to change decisions. However, he said, depending on what their legal advisors say, the government might keep the proposed change pending and put it in the next budget presentation. The minister added the opposition members have not approached him for any discussion if they felt the decision is illegal. When BBS asked the Supreme Court for its interpretation on the issue, they said it is to do with politics and that the judiciary is not involved in it. For Pema Sawang, Pupkem for BBS News.
Although Bhutan disagreed on decriminalizing defamation, if required, it could be done so in the coming years. Foreign Minister Dr. Tandi Doji said this while being asked on the country's stand on repealing provisions on defamation. The UN Human Rights Council's review meeting held in May this year suggested that Bhutan decriminalize defamation and place it in the civil code.
The foreign minister who led the delegation to the review meeting said the Bhutanese team did not agree to decriminalize defamation since the suggestion came as a shadow report.
It came as a shadow report in which Bhutan is not mandated to respond. But in our own consultations, we feel that such a process will be very long and lengthy, and it also requires further consultation and discussion with all stakeholders. So, if required, in the coming years, we might do it first with the consultation process.
However, as the US recommended, the Bhutanese delegation agreed to prevent misuse of defamation laws to unduly constrain freedom of expression both online and offline.
In a sense, out of the two, the recommendation made by USA is accepted by us, in which we will try to prevent the misuse. And this we will do closely in consultation with the judiciary to ensure that cases that come up to the court are genuine and not false. So we'll ensure that people are not that laws are not misused, and that people are unnecessarily not taken to court.
During the review meeting, the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization UNESCO noted that defamation and libel were criminal offences under Articles 317 and 320 of the Penal Code of Bhutan. The offences carry punishment of fines and a maximum of 3 years of imprisonment. GM for BBS News.
Office of the Attorney General determined 3 former lecturers of the College of Language and Culture Studies in Tongsa to be charged and prosecuted for alleged sexual harassment. The office returned the case to Tongsa police after charges against 3 accused were graded as petty misdemeanor.
The 3 accused are former lecturers of the college. The OAG's review report found they allegedly sexually harassed girls on different occasions. However, OAG found no basis to charge them with offence of criminal attempt to commit custodial rape or rape and official misconduct, and these charges against them were dropped from prosecution. During the special investigation, police charged 2 serving lecturers for alleged sexual harassment and official misconduct, taking the number of defendants to 12. But OAG found no basis and dropped charges against the duo. OAG also dropped charges against one of the defendants, and rest 6 were found innocent. The college registered the case with the police in May this year after 19 girls lodged a complaint to the management requesting immediate investigation. And on 10th May, the college management compulsorily retired 9 lecturers and a supporting staff. The police forwarded the case to OAG last month for review. Tongsa police will now review the case and forward it to the court soon. This is Pasa, BBS News, Tongsa.
The government is planning to start a mass commercial organic farming project involving all 20 districts. The initiative will be backed with a 1 billion item budget under the Organic Flagship Program. Production is expected to start from 2021.
There were earlier similar initiatives to go for organic farming, but it has not picked up as expected. Projects like Kasa Zongkhak's organic farming initiative, which is currently facing sustainability issues. But the government intends to make the 1 billion Nilton project successful with proper planning and research and maximize organic production to export outside. Organic farming this time will include products such as vegetables, cereals, crops, fruits as well as livestock. The ministry has come up with the guidelines, and the initial planning and procurement works are already underway.
Bhutan being a small country, a small population and a rugged terrain country, we cannot compete in the international market with our conventional produces. So that way for Bhutan, if we want to go for export of the R&R produces, then we have to have some special quality in it, and this is the opportunity is to go organic.
However, the agriculture minister says going organic will not be an easy task. Being certified as a purely organic product comes with many formalities and criteria to be fulfilled. For accreditation, the government plans to tie up with neighboring countries like India and Thailand and other regional countries in future. The current challenges include convincing farmers to take up organic farming and lack of infrastructure.
It is also important to demonstrate to our farmers, because seeing is believing. So to demonstrate to our farmers, the government will start introducing organic farming through our SOEs, the Farm Mechanization Corporation Limited, and on the livestock sector, the Bhutan Livestock Development Corporation. So these SOEs will start working on organic farming. Then we will also engage our youths in through these SOEs. We will also encourage our youths to form cooperative farming.
Presently, the ministry is also identifying potential lands for the project. According to the Agriculture Minister, all 20 Dzongkhaks will be equally prioritized as different Dzongkhaks produce different products. The flagship program is initiated for socio-economic development through sustainable production of safe and nutritious food. It is also expected to increase revenue and contribute towards the country's GDP. This is Komal Kharka for PBS News.
The Royal Monetary Authority launched the crowdfunding portal and issued approval to REDCL to operate as the Bhutan's first CSI bank. It was announced during the Bhutan Economic Forum for Innovative Transformation, or BIFIT 2019. The move is expected to ensure better access to financing for young entrepreneurs and cottage and small industries. Bhutan Crowdfunding is the first digital platform the Royal Securities Exchange of Bhutan developed. The platform, which is the first of its kind, will provide an alternate financing model for startups, new business ventures, and cottage and small industries in Bhutan to access funds from the public. It will also offer entrepreneurs the opportunity to raise funds for their new businesses and at the same time provides new investment avenues for the public. The RCBL will assess businesses wanting to source equity funding from the crowd up to 5 million etem. For the investors, an individual can invest up to 100,000 etem. The finance minister during the event said that the country cannot catalyze CSI growth unless better access to financing. Therefore, he said the initiative befit the government's vision of inclusive economic growth. Meanwhile, the Rural Enterprise Development Corporation, or REDCL, will function as the first CSI bank. The bank will be a specialized bank catering to the financing needs of the cottage and small industries. Samtan Tolkar, PBS News. Beginning next year, Postgraduate Diploma in Education, or PGDE, will be 18 months course instead of 9 months. This is to adequately train and improve the quality of teachers. The decision was made last year after the Education Ministry submitted a proposal to the Royal Civil Service Commission. The selection of students for PGDE course will take place later this year through Bhutan Civil Service examination.
With the new change, the PGDE graduates undergoing 18-month program will get their first promotion in 4 years, including probation period. The promotion was only after 5 years for 9-month PGDE program. Feedback received from the relevant stakeholders suggested that the duration of 9 months was too short to learn teaching practice.
Studies done earlier by erstwhile REC, Royal Education Council, and other studies done by the college themselves, and the feedback that we received from the postgraduate diploma students, they found that the course was too short for them to learn. They're not adequately prepared for teaching the secondary schools.
She added the 18 months training will give graduates enough time to reflect on their practices.
The new duration of 18 months, they will have 6 months of one whole semester of teaching practicum. So the first month they would be with their mentor, observing their classes, how he or she teaches, and then they would teach. There's a lot of hand holding happening when the teachers go to teach in the schools. Then maybe in the third and fourth week they teach on their own. So that mentoring and coaching would happen well.
Besides extending the PGDE duration, the Education Ministry will discontinue B.Ed secondary program from this month.
Studies have found that B.Ed secondary graduates are not very competent, to teach in higher secondary schools. They were supposed to teach from 7 to 12, and then they were found not to be so competent to teach, especially on the subject knowledge.
Hereafter, PGD program will replace B8 secondary, but B8 primary will be retained. This year, the Royal Civil Service Commission has announced 265 vacancies for teachers, 60 more seats compared to last year. Sunampem for BBS News.
And Belden Sring Yangchen, a student of Drugil Central School in Paru, is the winner of this year's 12th Golden Youth Award. She will receive a 2-year scholarship to study abroad. 80 students competed in various categories ranging from academic, sports, personal talents and leadership quality.
It's from Drugil High School. I'm so happy you guessed it right. I think it's going to be the most deserving person you met, deserving girl, Belden Sring Yangchen.
Both participants and audience were on their toes as the winner of the competition was about to be announced. Rooting for the best, the crowd became thunderous. From the voices came out a distinct name, Belden, a girl from Paro. The crowd was spot on and she won the title which was awarded by the Prime Minister Dr. Lote Sring.
I've enjoyed this camp really much. The most toughest one was the writing part, where my mind went completely blank and I could not figure out what to write down, what to note it down, and I feel that at the camp the thing I spoiled the most would be the writing part. So before getting the scholarship, I think that I will try to motivate as many youths as possible in my school, in my community. Moreover, every youth I come across, I'll try to motivate them to do better in life.
Belden will receive a scholarship from the Bhutan Youth Development Fund to study overseas next year. So far, 7 students have received scholarships to study in the Netherlands, Singapore and Canada as part of the program. The 12th Golden Youth Award Camp this year was themed Selvi Melong, the Mirror of Clarity. Golden Youth Award is a platform to inspire and motivate youth to excel holistically. The first edition of the camp was held in 2008. This is Swingdendo for BBS News.
In ancient times, most of the traditional healers or doctors in the country were monks. But over time, this trend declined, with monks now only engaged in prayers and other religious activities. This lost tradition is, however, expected to resume, as the Shung Datsang will now be sending out monks to train in traditional medicine at the Gesagyepo University of Medical Sciences, Bhutan.
With the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding today, the Jung Drasang will be sending out 4 monks to the university, 2 to be trained as Drungsos and the other 2 as members. The Drungso course is for 5 years and the member is a 3-year course. According to the Secretary of Drasang Hensok Secretariat, this initiative has been started upon the royal command of His Majesty the King.
If you look at the history of Bhutan, most of the Drungsos in the past were from the Jung Drasang. They had gone for education to Tibet and elsewhere in the field of learning Drungso. And this Soyirikpa, so-called in Dzongkha, is so important in Bhutan because treating a person not only needs the medical attention but also needs to be mentally moved. When a Gelong or a Lam goes into the field of Drungso, the belief and the respect, the reverence given by the general public appears to be more.
The admission criteria is a bachelor's degree in Buddhist philosophy with English background for Drungsos and a high school certificate with English background for members.
We have to enforce the admission criteria very strictly. We have to consider candidates with at least class 8 pass minimum. They should have English language proficiency also. Drasal Henso has to arrange fund to train them. KGOMs will be charging fees accordingly. We have to shortlist a certain number of people to be sent for this particular training. And then also we have to develop disciplinary rules and regulations also.
The Memorandum of Understanding will be jointly reviewed every 3 years by the Drasang Hensok Secretariat with members of Jung Drasang and the board from the university. Shoni Dama for BBS News.
Alone, we can do very little, but together we can do so much more. With this in mind, Bhutanese people from across the country have come together to help out a mother be with her daughter who is in a coma in Japan. Through an online campaign, more than 1.8 million item has been raised to help the mother who is planning to travel to Japan to be with her daughter.
The online campaign started from a Facebook post on 12th July. The post was written by journalist and Journalist Association of Bhutan's Executive Director Namgye Sam on her Facebook page. Along with Dan Maya's story, she requested people to help out and posted Dan Maya's bank account details. Since then, many people have chipped in. The collected amount has currently reached more than 1.8 million Newton and is increasing every day. The money will be used to help Dan Maya, who is planning to travel to Japan, where her 27-year-old daughter Sonam Tamang has been in coma since September last year. Sonam had left for Japan through the government's Learn and Earn program in October 2017. She is currently on a life-supporting machine at an intensive care unit in Japan and is being taken care of by her roommate in the absence of her family. 70% of Sonam's medical expenditure is being met through medical insurance, while 30% is being paid by the government. According to her brother, Pasang Tamang, the government is sending him and his mother to Japan to be with Sonam but will be funding their stay for only 20 days. But he says his mother intends to stay in Japan until his sister recovers. He added he wants to thank the people of Bhutan and Usha Dukpa, a reporter who first shared their story, and to Namgye Sam for helping his family. Pema Saldun Sring, BBS News.
Wizards claimed the title of the 25th Annual Coronation Cup 2019 after defeating Pojas in the finals. In women's category, Majas defended their title by overcoming Taras. 5 women's teams and 28 men's teams took part in the competition this time. The tournament was organized at the swimming pool indoor basketball court in Thimphu.
Majas and Taras advanced to the finals of the competition after defeating Team Vajra and Mistakes. The defending champions Majas started the game strong, taking the lead early. And by the end of the third quarter, Majas were leading by a commanding scoreline of 46-24. To close the gap, Taras made desperate 3-point attempts but wasn't enough. The game ended 53-38. In the men's final as well, from the first quarter of the game, Wizards pressed their opponent Pojas with quick penetrations and successful shots from downtown. Wizards led the first half by 14 points. On the other side, Pojas struggled as they missed shots after shots with many turnovers. In a change of gameplay in the third quarter, Pojas opted to shoot from the 3-point line, but it proved futile in closing the 10-basket difference the quarter started with. The fourth quarter was a repeat of the earlier quarters as the game ended 80-53 in favor of Wizards. With 26 points, 17 rebounds, 6 assists and 4 steals, Rinchen Doji of Wizards was named the most valuable player of the finals. For women's final, Yuden Tenzing of Majas was named the most valuable player. The finalists were awarded trophies and cash prizes. Coronation Cup is the longest running sports tournament in the country, organized by the Basketball Federation of Bhutan. This is Pasang Doji for BBS News.
Well, that's all we have for you this week. Thank you for investing your time. Goodbye.